Let me just double check that this is recording. So if I go here, because I just did a whole video and it just all messed up, so I'm really like double checking. Okay, I think it's recording. I hope it's recording. Okay. Hi, my name is Ahuduka, and this is How I Will Change the World project, aka my milestone project. Um, Someone popular in my like career choice is Tim Grover. He's a world famous personal trainer slash physical therapist. He's done work for many athletes over the times, and some popular names that you may recognize are like Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade. I chose this man as like my popular person because he started off as just a regular sports trainer, and over time he built his resume up, and he actually took opportunities that he could get, and he built his name up to the point where he was in the big leagues, working at the NBA and NFL level. So it just shows that this career isn't capped off at any point. There's no growth going, like there's no growth cap. You can grow as much as you want, you can expand as much as you want, and you can do a lot to change the world. Where I would spend my whole career is the city of Houston. The reason why I picked Houston is because, hold on, let me just get a quick check. Okay, still recording. I chose the city of Houston because I think that it is like one of the one of the biggest cities in the whole country, and it is growing every single day. And I feel like if there's any city that has a space for my career, it's gonna be this city. And my family lives here. I've always grown up in this city, so I already know my way around, and I love this city, and I wouldn't change anything about it. The reason why I'm choosing physical therapy as my career is because I really do feel like it's changing the world. I feel like it helps people grow, and some people that are bound to make it to the pro levels, like in the NBA, MLB, NFL, sometimes injuries can stop them or even fully like end their chances of getting to that. And I feel like one person that helps these people are physical therapists. After like a life-threatening injury or a career-ending injury, people go to physical therapists who help them get fully back to the best version of themselves. A personal person that I've seen about this is a cousin. His name was Ishan. I knew him my whole life, and I still know him. Um, he was actually very good at sports, and he was gonna go pro, but unfortunately, he received a really really bad injury, and he could never play sports again. And he believed that like if he was able to get in contact with a physical therapist, it would actually help him a lot. And he did notice changes, but unfortunately, just never got to the best he could. But the physical therapy did help him a lot more. That's why I think PT is important because it can help people get back to their full potential. Interview reactions. For the most part, the process felt pretty good. It went smooth. Everything was pretty, like, there was no awkward moments. There was no hesitation. Everyone was always talking. As the person interviewing, some things that I could have worked on is definitely being more, like, eye contact and engaging, because when I was, like, interviewing someone, I would be taking notes and I wouldn't pay attention as much. And sometimes I would just doze off, and then it didn't feel like we were actually communicating. It felt like they were just there to get something asked out of them. As the person being interviewed, something that I could work on was going more into detail about something. Like, if I got the question, I just keep repeating the same answer over and over again. I wasn't really elaborating or getting more into depth about the question. Milestone three. So in this milestone, I was basically a physical therapist helping someone recover from a knee injury. So the way we had to see if they were really recovering was we were putting low resistance levels at the start. We started off at 4 pounds, and then as we kept going over the weeks, we kept like gradually gaining weight. So the knee was pushing more weight in the recovery process. So we started off with a derivative here, and we used it to figure out if in each week was the resistance actually going up, or was the leg taking more uh, weight to the knee so it could like actually be recovering, or was it still staying the same? And as we kept going on and doing the math, we realized that the resistance to how much weight it could take and the weeks correlated. As the weeks went on, the leg could take more and more weight on, so it was helping it recover. This is my graph. In this graph, it was demonstrating how like at first we started at 4 pounds. It represents like the baseline intensity, I guess. It began with the first part that the patient ever did, and then So my X was the time in weeks since rehabilitation began, and that was like the start point. We started at 4 pounds, and we could just see over time the weight was going up. So the rehabilitation was working. My milestone four, this patient was at the clinic, and basically they were doing the correlation between the amount of months and the knee inflammation on the person. So as the months went on, the knee inflammation went lower and lower, right? So what we did was we took the left hand sums and the right hand sums to like figure out an average between each month, right? Month one, what was the average? Month two, what was the average? We did the overestimate and the underestimate. And what we got from that was the average, which helped us figure out like around the radius of what was around the general area of what was the process of the knee inflammation. This is all the math that shows it. So in the context of physical therapy for knee inflammation, mathematical tools like the Riemann sum and the fundamental theorem of calculus were used to monitor the evaluate the healing process over time. The Riemann sum proved an approximation of the total inflammation by summing values at either the beginning, which is the left-hand sum, or the end, the right-hand sum, on each treatment level by the months. This helped estimate how inflammation changes over the months, and a decreasing trend sums that suggest that therapy is effectively reducing inflammation. Milestone 5. In this, we had two variables. So the scenario first was patient Mark is undergoing continuous cold therapy, cryotherapy, for a severe knee inflammation after surgery. To manage treatment effectively, it's important to understand how the cold therapy affects the inflammation levels over time, making sure inflammation reduces effectively without dropping too low and causing tissue damage. So in this, the two variables were X, time since the start of cold therapy measured in hours, and Y, the level of inflammation on Mark's knee. So with these rates, what we did is we actually we represent the continuous irritation or stress of the knee joint due to physiological responses like swelling or minor movements. For this scenario, it's a constant value of 75 IU an hour, which is the RY. So we're doing 75 IU an hour. And as you can see with the graphs, over due time that the inflammation was getting affected by the cold therapy, and it did actually affect the inflammation for the better. So my overall reflection over this class was, when I started this class, I said I was interested in becoming a physical therapist, but I wasn't fully sure on the aspects of like how much math is used, because math hasn't always been my best thing, and I've just wanted to understand like the basics that could be used, and I understood that there are a lot of basics that can be used in kinesiology and physical therapists. So I do think that that's a part that I'm willing to take on to still be a physical therapist, because in the beginning half of the project I got to understand some popular people in this field, a good city for this field, the reason why I want to do this field, and it all showed me reasons that like I should still pursue to be a physical therapist. It's really good, and it helps change the world for a better. And then some things, my interviews helped me understand how I can socialize better, how I can stutter less and not say and you know. I bet I said a lot in this because I've already been trying to do this recording many times, and I've done this one too many times, and I'm still working on the ums and the you knows, but I'm going to try to get better at that. But besides that, this was an amazing class. I loved it. Everything about it was great, and I learned a lot more than just simple math. I learned how to communicate and everything. Thank you.